Hello and welcome to Lesson 9, pages 78 and 79. This is the song titled The Squeaky Gate in our Level 1 book. And this is reviewing the notes C, D, E, and F using the grand staff, just like we did in our last song. But there is a new element to this song as well that wasn't in the previous one. But we have just learned this new resource, and it is called a split measure. Or we might hear it referred to as a pickup by your teacher. That's a common word used for it. There's a classical term here. Oh, they actually have it written here. Is an anacrusis. Oh, look, they have pickup here and upbeat measure. So lots of different phrases for it. We've talked about pre-measures before, but let's do a quick review of some of our staff items, and then this pre-measure one will make some more sense. So before we get to our time signature, which is going to help us with our pre-measure, let's talk about our clefs. Remember, students, the top clef is called the treble clef, and it means to use our right hand. This bottom one is called the bass clef. It means to use our left hand. Okay, now that we have our clefs figured out, let's talk about the time signature. It's going to help us out with this pre-measure, okay? So the time signature is 3/4. We'll say 3/4 time. The top number tells us how many beats are in a measure. So there needs to be 3 beats in order for it to be a measure. Well, what kind of note gets the beat? That's what the bottom number tells us. It says a 4. A 4 means a walk note or a quarter note. So 4 means that a quarter note or a walk note is equal to 1 beat. So think of this as a rule book, students. The rule says there needs to be 3 beats for any measure to be called a measure, meaning in between 2 bar lines. But wait, if we look at our pre-measure 1, it does not follow the rules. The rules are broken. There's only 1 beat here. Well, how can that be? Well, it says the missing beats are played in the last measure. So how many beats do we have in measure 1? We've only got 1 beat. So if we go all the way over here to measure 16, look, there's a half note by itself, which is only 2 beats. So 2 plus 1 or 1 plus 2 is going to give us our 3 beats total that we needed. Very interesting. So pickups or our split measures means that we're going to start on a different beat for our songs, okay? Because usually we play on beat 1, 1, 2, 3, right? The first time you press the key is on beat 1. But for me to count you into this song, what I'm going to say is 1, 2, 3, and then I'll say 1, 2, and you play on beat number 3. Let me give you an example. Our first note is C and then F, but we're still going to talk about our hand position. So I might say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, C, F for 2, C, E, and I was all the way in measure 2. So that is how our pre-measure works. It's a pickup to the song. It's a note that's played before beat 1 or measure 1. And sometimes composers just have that in the song because it's the way they want their melody to sound and to be played or to repeat, right? So that's why it's here. Okay, so we've got our pre-measure figured out. Let's talk about our notes. So we need C, D, E, and F. We need middle C. Remember, middle C, it's going to be under a group of 2 black keys. It's the first white key. It's in the middle of our pianos. Whoops, bumped my piano cam. So it's in the middle of our pianos. One way to find it, remember, you can stretch your arms all the way out, bring them together, and find the group of 2 black keys in the center of your piano. First white key is C. Next to C, we have D, which we're also going to need. Next to D, we have E. Very nice. Now we're moving under our group of 3 black keys. The first white key, good way to remember that, is F. First for F. Very nice. So now let's look at our song and figure out which hands are playing which note. Because remember, we're using what's called the grand staff. That's when we have the treble staff and the bass staff. So that means it's both hands music. So we got to use, look what it says here, it gives us a hint. Use any 3 fingers in the right hand and use any finger in the left hand. Well, that's kind of a clue because middle C is our left hand note because remember, middle C in this instance is closer to our bass clef. And in the right hand, we need to play D, E, and F. So it's just like the previous song we played. So what we're going to do is take 3 fingers on D, E, F. I'm going to use my thumb pointer in the middle, and I'm kind of doing a 5-finger pattern in both hands, and I'm using my thumb in the left hand for C. So that's how I'm going to cover notes. Another really common way is to do it like this. I recommend you try either hand position. I'm going to use the 5-finger pattern. Okay, so let's look at the beginning of our song. We come in on beat 3, walk, hold for 2, walk, hold for 2, walk, 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 walk. Well, let's try to play that nice and slow together with our notes. We have C, F for 2, C, E for 2, then C, D, D, D. Here we go, nice and slow. We're going to try that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then we're going to play C, F for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, D, D. Great, great work. And now looking at line number 2, it's more of the same. We actually play a C half note for 2, but then we're doing that same thing. C, F, and then C, E for 2, C. And then instead of 3 D walk notes, we just play a D dotted half note. And how many beats do dotted half notes get? They get 3 beats, so we hold for 3. So a lot of repetition already in this song. Let's try the second line nice and slow. Regular counts in here. There's no pre-measure for line 2, so I'll just say 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Play C for 2, C, F for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, 2, 3, C for 2, C, and we're off there. Very nice. So now we're already on our second page. So it's almost like this note's going to feel kind of like the pickup that happened at the beginning of our song, right? We played a C there and then we play F. Well, same thing happened over here. It's like C, F. So that's why there's a pickup to the song. It helps the melody. So we're going to do more of what we've been doing. We just played a C in measure 8. Now we're playing F, C, E, C. But look here, students. This is the first time this happens in our song. And whenever there's a first in a song or later in a song, that's usually where we'll make our first mistake. So we want to keep our eye on this one. Then we play D, E, D with our walk notes before going back to C. Okay, so I encourage you to just try that quick. Play D, E, D. We know where the notes are. But let's start on line number 3. Nice and slow and go, play through measure 12 there. Here we go, line 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Play F for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, E, D, C for 2, C, and we're off. Okay, great. Now line 4 just has a lot of new. We're playing 3 D walk notes together, which actually I guess we did in measure 3, but then we play E, D, C, F, C, F. So this E, D, C section is something that's new in the song. We're just going down one note at a time is a nice way to see that, but make sure we do right, right, left, because middle C is in our left hand. So looking at that last line, I'll just play it for you so you can hear it. We have D, 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 E, D, C, C, F for 2, and off. And remember that ending is like our last 2 beats that were left over from our pre-measure at the beginning of the song. Let's try the last line nice and slowly together. 1, 2, 3. Last line, play. Play. D, 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 E, D, C, then F for 2, C, F for 2, and off. Great work. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of our song and do our first full performance of the Squeaky Gate. Hands ready. Remember our count in for that pre-measure, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then we play a C. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and C, F for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, 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 second line, C for 2, C, F for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, 2, 3, C for 2, C, third line for 2, C, E for 2, C, D, E, D, C for 2, C, fourth line, D, D, E, D, C, F for 2, C, F for 2, and off. Congratulations on completing the song The Squeaky Gate, and I will see you on the next song.